Welcome back. Today we're going to make the splice on our water rockets. The advantage of this is it makes a pressure chamber that's almost twice as big as a regular bottle. That'll give our rocket more thrust. It also makes it more streamlined and more likely to go straight and therefore for higher. We can add even multiple bottles, but every time you do, you create another failure point. So I think we'll stick with 2 unless you have a great idea. We'll stick with 2 bottles. I've prepared the first one already, but I'm going to show you how to do the second one. First of all, we're going to get this label off. And I want to get this off too, just using the back side of the scissors. I'll work on that more later. Now I have to decide whether I want my rocket to look like this or like this. Each method has some pros and cons. Since you've already got an idea what these will look like, I'm going to make this one the other way. So instead of cutting the bottom off, I'm going to cut the top off. And if I look right here, there's a line, and that marks the transition between the curved part and the straight-sided part. We want to cut that line. I'm going to poke a hole through with a utility knife, but I'm going to cut it with scissors. And I can cut it a little bit back from the line and then go back and trim. So I'm just going to clean this up. I don't want any burrs, and I want it all the way around. That looks pretty good. Now, this plastic is really shiny and smooth, and it's hard for glue to stick to. So I'm going to scuff it up with a piece of sandpaper. I'm just trying to scratch it so it's not shiny. I'm not actually trying to sand it. And I'm trying to make it rough, not smooth. And especially I want to concentrate where this label was. I don't want any air to be able to leak out, so I want to really get that, because I really need the glue to stick there. I want it to be plastic, not the label. And I have to think about how this is going to go together. I'm going to sand the outside of this one. That's good. And I sanded the inside of this one. So the outside of one and the inside of the other one. Now, these are both the same size, so they won't really slide into each other. In order to make them fit, I need to shrink this one a little bit so it fits inside this one. And with plastic, I can do that fairly easy. I have water in this pan that is, right now it's 160.7 degrees. I'm using an infrared thermometer. Just pull the trigger and point it at it and it'll tell you the temperature. You don't have to dip it in or anything. 160 is perfect. That's exactly what I want. And now I'm going to take the lids off. And this one that I sanded the outside of, I'm going to dip it in here. I'll let a little arrow so the water can go inside. I put it in there for a while, And I can see already it shrunk the outside, and it probably is going to fit just like that. Yeah, that's good. Now don't force it in, and make sure that it's not puckered or anything. But I think that'll work. I think that'll work just fine. It only takes a few seconds. If it didn't shrink small enough, then stick it again and again. And remember, you only shrink one side, so it'll fit into the others. One of the advantages of using this, using the bottom, is that maybe now I could use that top. A lot of groups have used that top as what lands with the astronauts. Just an idea. It's not quite as aerodynamic as this one, but okay, so now I'm going to dry that well. And now I want to glue that seam. And I have this special glue, it's called PL Premium. This stuff is a little sketchy. And I'm going to put a thin layer all the way around. Putting it on with this toothpick. Just want to cover it all. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be a thick coating, but it should all be covered. Smooth it out. Set that one aside, and I'm going to do the same with this one. This is messy stuff. Remember, I need to put the glue on the inside of this one. I'll put it on the outside of the other one. Okay, throw your scraps away. And let's see if I can get these together. Kind of twisting it to seal everything. I want to make sure it's straight. Wipe off anything that's squeezed out. Being careful not to get on myself. This stuff doesn't come off very well. And I want to look around and make sure I don't have any like puckers where air could get in. It looks like I got good contact all the way around. So now I'll just set this aside and let it dry. And come back tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm going to dress this up. I'm going to make it look like a rocket. I'm going to plan, you know, something to come off or something that hangs on the side to land astronauts safely. And that's what it's all about, bringing the astronauts back safely. If you have further questions, there's another video in uswaterrockets.com. They have all kinds of information about how to build these. Some of them are pretty awesome. Check that out. Have a good day.